Hello friends, welcome to another zombie preparedness video. Today we're going to look into a wild food that you probably don't think of very often. It's pretty ubiquitous. It grows everywhere. Today we're going to look at the at clover. So stick with me. We're going to see white clover, red clover, and we're going to talk about the nutrients in the clover. So let's go on over into the field and look into this neat plant.
That's all. Storm's over. Rain gone. Storm's over.
Hopefully the sound quality is good today. We've got a pretty nice breezy day here. This is Brandywine Creek State Park here in Delaware. Really nice park. It's got a lot of microclimates. Right here we're up in one of the open meadows. They have a nice small marshy wetland area. A lot of really good rough area, as well as the somewhat manicured lawn. This is the hawk observation field up here. Red-tailed hawks and Harris hawks and several other hawks like to hang out in Delaware. But today we're going to talk about clover. So the common white clover is considered a survival food. It's a little calorie intensive to collect, so yeah, it is pretty much a survival food. Let's talk about the different parts. We got the nice flower here, of course, and just about everything about the white clover is supposed to be edible. Some of it more, some of it less. So the flowers are pretty edible. Most of the clover plant is difficult for a human to digest when it's raw. The flowers are pretty nice. If you get them nice and ripe where there's no brown on them, here's one with brown. Let me see, it's got the older florets that are browned out and shagging down. So if we can get one that's not got that, then you might be lucky enough to actually have some nice nectar in there. You'll notice that clover is a favorite of bees, and it produces nectar year-round. Well, not year-round, but throughout the spring and summer when it's blooming. The plant pretty much grows year-round. You can find clovers as far north as the Arctic. There are many pasture areas up there, but you can find them up in the Arctic, and you can find them all the way down to the bottom of the world. The clover plant is pretty common, but of course everybody likes to keep their lawns pretty nice and neat, so you don't really get to see clover fields like this in your suburban areas. Some places it's actually legally encouraged to get rid of white clover. Here we have its close cousin. We got red clover here. White clover is Trifolium repens, and repens means creeping, so if you were to pull these up, you would find that the white clover actually kind of sends runners out and creeps along the ground. Red clover is Trifolium pratensa. Trifolium because of the 3 leaves, and it is also edible. Now, red clover produces coumarin, which is nature's form of coumadin, which is an anticoagulant. So this might be a plant that you don't really want to eat if you're taking anticoagulants. It could mess up your dosages. The converse of that is plants that are rich in vitamin K. All your I can't say the word right, so the cousins of cabbage and kale and that family. I'll try to get that family name up on the screen for you. So they are rich in vitamin K and are contraindicative to those who are taking anticoagulants for heart or cardiovascular problems. Anyway, the clover plant is related to the pea plant, so Indoleum. Typically we're supposed to stay away from legumes when it comes to survival foods, but clover is one that we can rely on. So the edible parts of clover, we got the flower, that's edible. The stems are really stringy, so I don't think I would bother with them. We can get the leaves of the plant, and of course we have the nice 3 leaves that are typical of this plant. It's called trifolium for a reason, 3 leaves. I don't think we're going to have any luck, even though I'm wearing green today. I'm not much of a leprechaun, so I don't think I'm going to find a 4-leaf clover, but it's possible. These are a mutant variety. Again, the stem is just too stringy to bother with, so you're going to have to spend some prep time. Now, picking clover is as easy as plucking the stems up, if you like. If you kind of sweep in with your fingers, then you can sometimes just get the flower head with it. Sometimes you get the stem, so you got prep time that you're going to have to deal with when you go to take these back to the laboratory for cooking. So that's it for the field work. Let's go on back. Let's collect a whole bunch of flower heads and some leaves, and we'll go and see what we got for cooking. Extra credit. What's the other edible plant in this scene? So welcome back to the Z-Man's laboratory here. We're going to make a little bit of clover soup tonight. So let's get cooking. What we're going to have is clover leaves. We're going to have a little bit of clover blossoms. We're going to put that in a little bit of bouillon, chicken bouillon I think, and we'll season it up with some garlic mustard. So we're going to see here pretty quickly how clover becomes a kind of a labor-intensive thing. We just don't want the stems. Now, ideally, we would have just the tiny leaves, but we're talking about a survival situation, so We're going to cook with the older leaves as well today. I'm not being too assiduous here. I'm getting some stems in. Now, the older leaves are harder to digest. Some survivalists feel that clover just isn't worthwhile. But considering everything it has in it, I think it is a worthwhile food. Alright, so I'm going to continue processing this, and we'll be back in a few minutes with the next step of making clover soup. Okay, so all the prep work is done. I'm going to put a pan on here. And we're going to get two cups of water. 1, 2. The reason we're using 2 cups of water because we only want 1 cup of soup for this recipe. That's our yield, 1 cup. We're going to use 2 cups because we're going to have a long boil time with this. To the water, as I peel industriously here, to the water we're going to add 1 bouillon cube. Now, when I do my recipes for wild foods, I'm trying to stick with stuff that you would normally have in a survival situation. So if you had a plane crash, you probably wouldn't have bouillon cubes with you, but I know a lot of guys have bouillon cubes. A word about bouillon cubes. They're good for flavor, but they have very little nutrition in them. If you take a little bit of time, check out nutritiondata.com and see what kind of nutrition is in them. Very poor. If you're relying on bouillon cubes in your bug out bag as a food source, you probably are hurting yourself. So we're going to get our pot going here. Turned things off and came back because battery died out, so we're going to start over again. So to the water, we're going to get a cup of clover leaves. You can put them in. I'm going to throw in a half a cup of clover blossoms. And just stir them in so they're wetted. Yeah, it is going to take quite a bit of cooking to make these easy to eat. Like I said, others have said that clover is so difficult to eat it's probably not worth troubling with. But I experimented a little bit and I think I came up with a decent way to cook clover up, and this is it. So one moment, I'm going to go and get some more stuff for this. So what I got here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 leaves of garlic mustard. Garlic mustard is also known as sauce alone. in the same family as wintercress. You'll want to check out the wintercress video in this playlist. But garlic mustard, when bruised, emits a very pleasant garlic odor. So I'm just going to chop this up. I don't want it to be, those are nice big broad leaves, and I don't want them to be larger than the clover. Dice these up and put the garlic mustard in there with the rest of the ingredients. Now, I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes, because what it really takes here is boiling temperature to get that clover ready to eat. Now, high temps do destroy B vitamins, but we're not going to have this cooking to the same degree that that one might do for making fresh applesauce. Let me say why I make that comparison. What I discovered was that when I was researching about B vitamins is that nutrition loss in terms of heat applied could be extrapolated by apples. You know, we can see how much B vitamins are in a certain volume of raw apples, and then we can carry that through to applesauce, which is essentially cooked down apples, and then we can carry that through to apple butter, which is applesauce taken to a much greater degree of dehydration. And as we go through there, we can see how the B vitamins are being destroyed as prolonged heat is applied to them. So we've come down to a simmering boil, and I want it to be more active than that. So I'm going to turn it up just a little bit more. What does a simmering boil look like? There we go. There's a simmering boil. It's not a rolling boil, but a simmering boil. So we're going to let that cook along for another 15 minutes or so, or well, another 12 minutes or so, and we'll be back. So clover soup, a little hot. Has a little bit of a spinach flavor to it. It's rather tasty. Clover has some good proteins in it. I'm gonna like it for that. If you're packing those bouillon cubes, boy, hardly any protein in them. So clover is a great addition to that. Other nutrients in clover: clover has vitamin C. It's a lot tastier eating clover than it is to drink pine needle tea. Clover has most of the B vitamins. It's got biotin, choline, bioflavonoids, and so it's a pretty good survival food. So folks, thanks for sharing some time with me here on Zombie Preparedness. I'm glad you had an interest in clover as a wild food. Thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for your comments. I try to get to those as often as I can. And just remember folks, the knowledge that you carry in your head, it weighs nothing and it takes no room in your bag. We'll see you next time.
Storm's over. Rain gone. Storm's over. Oh, rain gone.